Derrick Rose night happened this past weekend, and man, was it a success. That's why, despite all the criticism that we've gone and thrown at the Reinsdorf when it comes to the handling of the Chicago Bulls, they finally did something right, in my opinion. So they deserve at least a little bit of credit in this regard, what we're going to break down on today's episode. And then we got a matchup versus the San Antonio Spurs later on. Should be an interesting one. Y'all know we going to talk about it all, break it down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. If you tuned in with me today, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. In case you missed it, it was a great weekend in Chicago for us Chicago sports fans that love our Chicago teams. The Chicago Bulls honor Derrick Rose, and the team did not squander away the win. They actually went crazy and did an outstanding job in closing that game and representing Chicago and ensuring that Derrick Rose night was capped off with a W. And if you was tuned in with us yesterday on Chicago Bears Central, man, was it a live and anxious and jittery 3 hours of football. But the Chicago Bears beat them damn cheeseheads, the Packers. So I'm feeling good today. But we here to talk about our Chicago Bulls. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to say what nobody else is really going to be willing to say. And that is that Jerry Reinsdorf and the Chicago Bulls, for once in this lifetime, maybe a couple more times, but once in the last few years, they finally did something correctly. Make all the assumptions, make all the claims, which are valid when it comes to the money of Jerry Reinsdorf. The guys that come in and operate and bring in players and have the refusal to ship off players. It has not always been pretty, and quite frankly, and to be real with you, a lot of the times it was complete shit. But what Reinsdorf's, Michael, and Jerry and the Chicago Bulls organization did for one of our own, that deserves some type of credit. Look, I understand there is negative connotations that's been placed on the Chicago Bulls to the point to where a lot of us like to hell with them. Just tank, just blow the season up, just sell the team. All of those are valid concerns and valid assessments up to this point. But y'all already know, if we come in and we talking about sports, every fucking thing in Chicago does not have to be negative. And this is why I blame some of my Chicago media. Every single thing that happens calls for some type of negative reaction because the teams in Chicago stink. Rightfully so. They stink. So you should not always feel good about the place of your teams in this city, in Chicago. But one thing that I can't get with is the refusal to acknowledge when somebody in one of these organizations does something good. We go out on a limb and say, Jerry Reinsdorf, you could have just put Derrick Rose jersey in the rafters that night. You just want to go out and get a money grab. I got something to say about it. Regardless if it's a money grab or not, based off nostalgia, your funky ass or another funky motherfucker was going to be filling the seats that night next year anyway. Did we somehow forget that the Chicago Bulls continuously lead the league in merchandise sales and filling seats with a shitty team? Did we suddenly forget that? So regardless if it was on this past Saturday where the jersey was going to go up, if the jersey didn't go up, next year in 2025, at the 2025-2026 season, a lot of us was going to be filling the seats. A lot of us was still going to be buying merch. And we know the Bulls ain't shit. We know this. That's why I come here and say, hey, we don't have to be negative towards everything that happens in Chicago regarding sports. My man's Hayes over there on Chicago Bulls Central said something that hit home that a lot of people tend to forget. We can come to a place of understanding when we talking and debating sports and we giving our takes on a said topic. But just because I understand you doesn't mean I have to agree with you. And I think it's valid in this point. I disagree with a lot of stuff that a lot of y'all are saying when it comes to Derrick Rose and the way that the Reinsdorf handled this. I understand it, but I strongly disagree with it. We don't have to fucking be negative over everything that happens in Chicago. Keep it a buck. The way that Derrick Rose was honored in this city, by the city, all over the city, is how you honor stars. And you get the others around the league that's coming into the league like, oh shit. I heard these things about the Bulls organization. I heard these things about how Jerry Reinsdorf operate, but damn, did they take care of Derrick Rose and he only played 7 seasons with the team. And for those that want to go out there and try to castigate my mans and say he don't deserve that jersey, fuck you. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. This man could have called it quits after those injuries. This man went on to play 15 seasons. Regardless if that was up to the level that you expected or not, my man's kept pushing on. Where's the humility when it comes to evaluating some of these situations? That's why it's important to add context to the damn discussion instead of just jumping off on the porch. So it's going to be some pushback and people coming at me. I'm already expecting it, but guess what? I don't give a damn. I don't go back and forth and beatbox on social media because motherfuckers know. But that ain't the point. The point is, we don't have to be negative about everything in Chicago. Kind of off topic, the Bears were yesterday. Like, oh my God, we ruined our draft pick. Guess what? You was only moving up 2 spots. Is it really that much of a difference? Aren't you guys tired of losing? Don't we want to win? We know the seasons ain't shit when it comes to these seasons. But when there's a moment and there's a time and your Chicago team gets it done, for that moment, celebrate, feel good, laugh a little, smile a little. Everything around Chicago does not have to be negative. Jerry Reinsdorf set a fucking standard, in my opinion. That, for me, as young as I am, I've seen players go to another city and get a tribute video. I've seen that. What about when Russ first went back to OKC? I've seen that. Russ still very well can get a ceremony like this when it's time for retirement. But what we looking at with this example is this was probably one of the best send-offs I ever seen. Took care of my mans with a brunch early in the day. Gave him great news on top of the great week he was already having in his hometown. You added on to that. You put together a nice-ass video of players all around the world, all around the league that went up against Derrick Rose. That was his teammates. That was his coaches. That was his friends, the bonds he built at a young age, guys respecting him. Have his mom out there, his family out there, his brothers out there, his closest friends, his closest teammates out there. Give thoughtful words and send them off the right way to his new endeavors in life. What is wrong with that? If you find that to be a problem, you a hating, miserable motherfucker. Don't have to agree with the optics all the way. But if you're upset that they took care of one of their own, that's a problem with you and God. Again, in Chicago, we don't have to be negative about every single thing that happens. Enjoy some moments of sports. That's what they're for, to enjoy sometime. Yes, you know that the Bears aren't going to the playoffs this year. But when they beat the Packers after losing 10 straight, enjoy the moment. Yes, we know the Chicago Bulls are in the middle of the fork in the road and don't know where to go with their direction. Yes, we know that. But then when it's time to honor one of our own, they showed up and played their ass off for the sake of our own. Enjoy the moment. That's the damn thing. Enjoy the moment. Yes, we can provide context to the discussions. Yes, we can talk about other things. But for the sake of just being good, enjoy the moment. It's really that simple. And for me, I'm probably one of the few people on the island by myself. I don't care. Jerry Reinsdorf, Michael Reinsdorf deserve some credit for how they shipped off Derrick Rose compared to how they traded him for Jose Calderon and Jerry and Grant. They made up for that in a way. And congrats to Derrick Rose. And shout out to the Reinsdorf for finally doing something correct. Finally. 2025 off to a great start. We'll see how I finish. We still already early in the year. But we got Bulls and Derrick Rose night, and we got a Bears win, goddamn. So I might be feeling a little, But I'm enjoying the moments. I encourage you all to do the same. Enjoy the moments in sports. If you've been pissed off for a while, that's your problem. But to the ones that are happy, don't try to shit on them. Because you want to be negative all the time. That's you and your problem with yourself and God. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling down there below. Because I heard some clowns say that he don't deserve that jersey in the rafters. Yeah, okay. He's the people's champ in Chicago. But hey, we got a game versus the San Antonio Spurs tonight. It should be an interesting one. The San Antonio Spurs, man, I think they got not a lot of nice young talent that's on the squad. Even seasoned in with a few veterans here and there. Victor Wembanyama has been a nightmare, especially with that one of them recent performances that he put on Christmas Day in his first Christmas Day game. Ball out. Absolutely went up there and did exactly what he was supposed to do. And I expect a tough challenge for the Chicago Bulls tonight, trying to contain Wembanyama. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think that the Chicago Bulls, they're going to have to continue to get up and down the floor. And I think that the formula has been placed out there. My co-host always says it. He says it pretty damn well. The formula is to knock your threes down and not turn over the ball and hope that they stick some defense. That's the formula. That's the formula that's going to be needed to beat this San Antonio team who has had their struggles, but has played some really good games as well. You cannot discount the effect and the leadership that Chris Paul is going to bring, the veteran leadership, whether people like it or not, because I'm not really a fan of him, but Harrison Barnes on that team, that's a champion, a guy that could potentially be one of the leaders on the squad. And then you also got this young talent, Stephon Castle, Wembanyama, we already mentioned. I like players like Malachi Branham. I don't know. I haven't really followed the Spurs that much throughout the entirety of the season. Seen a few games here and there, but, we deal with it. Trey Jones is another player I like over there, and I just hope that my Chicago Bulls come ready to play. Use that energy that you had on this past Saturday for Derrick Rose night to kind of push this thing forward. You know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily saying change won't come, so pump the brakes, don't overreact. But let's just play a better brand of basketball for the time being because, hey, everybody should be playing for each other because, this can all be over with in the span of just one trade. So let's go ahead and let's see a better effort out of the Chicago Bulls tonight. And me personally, y'all know what I do. I put it on wax with my predictions. I got the Chicago Bulls going for their second win in a row. And we should be good to go. That win versus the Knicks was a big win. And I hope that they can continue to win. Because after this, you get your rematch in a couple days versus those Wizards. But first, you got to get through the Spurs and the Pacers. And you could possibly get your lick back versus those lowly Wizards who you lost to in a bad fashion. I got the Bulls winning tonight. You let me know who you got winning tonight. But that is it for me today, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. If you in the Midwest, stay warm. It's snowing like a mom outside. Stay warm. Be cool. Hope somebody come help you shovel it out or get them people to get on their job and start plowing because it's a lot of snow out there. But nonetheless, y'all stay safe. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like button, subscribe on your way out. And y'all already know I'll catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac.